right, Dave, can you tell me how you came from the prototype process all the way to the finished product?
I was in Florida for a week and I'd went to a couple practice facilities, big, huge places, really good golfers. And there were 20 guys on the putting green. And I could not believe the amount of putting aids and drills they were doing. And I watched some guy like snap a chalk line and set up tees. It took him like 15 minutes. And I just kind of thought it was odd, but I didn't think anything of it. And I have a notebook by my bed because I wake up in the middle of the night and think about stuff. And I woke up and literally started drawing this putting thing, and I have no idea why. And so I noodled on it. This was probably 5.5 years ago. And I wish, I knew you were gonna ask this question, so I brought some stuff. I wish I had kept more of them, but this was probably prototype number 10. So for about 1.5 years, I was working with a welder, and I knew I wanted something with gates and pins on it. So we had this, and this was probably prototype number 100. So we were fooling around with gates. We were trying to, you had to buy these little balls in literally bulks of 1,000. So I have a lot of little balls laying around my garage. All right, so we were dealing with this, and then we had 2 just round alignment sticks going through. I didn't like that. And then when we were doing the PUR line, we had developed this flat stick because it stays straighter. So that's kind of what we went to. This is probably number 250. So now we're dealing with the strings. I had a physics teacher talking to me about the 2 strings, that's the only way to get pinpoint accuracy. We've got the truth gates. Then we went to this model so we could widen out and narrow out the path, etc. This was probably 300, this was probably 350. And then this one right here was what we brought to the PGA show in 2023. That PGA.com wrote an article on. This was one of the 3 purchases you needed to make in 2023, and the only training aid on their list. Now I look at this and I'm kind of embarrassed, but we took pre-orders on hundreds of these. And you can see you gotta tape the ball pad. The drawback to this is it was ugly because I'm not a designer, right? I'm not a designer. And I knew what we wanted to do from a physics standpoint and a technology standpoint, and you had to put this together. It came in 9 pieces. So after the show, we then got really, really serious. Not that we weren't serious before, but this is when I brought in teams of engineers, plastics experts, etc., and we ended up on here. Every training aid that I could get my hands on, putting training aid, I studied every lesson, and our goal was to do everything that those do and do it better, but do it all in one machine. And probably the greatest call I've had was literally yesterday from a guy who's on the European World Tour, the DP World Tour, and he said, I've been carrying around 7 putting trainers. And he said, I threw them all away, and this is all I am going to ever use again. And I think you have kind of had the same experience, right?
When I do a putting clinic or a putting lesson, I have 20, depending on how many people, I got 20 sticks, I got different contraptions and devices I use. I'm like, now I got this thing, I don't have to carry my noodles or my sticks and my putting alignment, my mirrors, everything, because all of this is built within this product right here. So this is every invention or every idea, pretty much that I've ever used, wrapped up into one piece.
And we at the PGA show, which was a couple weeks ago, I had one of the most famous putting instructors in the world, an elderly guy, come up to me, and he was grilling me for 45 minutes. And he's got his own stuff, right? So I get it, right? They've got their own invention. And he whispered in my ear, he said, son, you have thought of everything. And I looked at him and I said, do you think there's anything I'm missing? And he said, I wouldn't change a thing. And I mean, that is what our goal was, right? We wanted to create the best putting trainer in the world.
Yeah, it's good for instruction, it's good for home use, it's good for a lot of different people that want to improve their putting. So less items that you have to take out, you have one product that you can go with.